I will send you my physicians.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Hello, in this video we will look at the story worth telling of one of the most interesting and tragic characters of the 12th century. He was called the Honorable King. Baudouin was born in Jerusalem in 1161 as the son of King Amalric. Baudouin was the only son of the king, and it was certain that he would ascend to the throne of Jerusalem in the future. Special attention was paid to his education. For this reason, William the Walled, the famous historian of the Middle Ages, was brought to Jerusalem and taught him. While Baudouin and his friends were playing games by entering each other's arms in the palace courtyard, William noticed that Baudouin did not feel any pain from this wild game. William noticed that there was something strange. When he was alone with her, he pinched his arm to check whether he felt pain. Baudouin's failure to feel pain was a sign of leprosy, which would affect his entire life in every aspect in the future. On the death of his father Amalric, Baudouin IV succeeded to the throne, but as he was only 13 years old, the kingdom was to be ruled by two regents until Baudouin reached adulthood. Because of Baudouin's illness, those in the palace thought that he would not be able to reign for a long time. The kingdom was ruled first by Miles of Plancy with the title of regent on his behalf, and then by his father's cousin Raymond of Tripoli. In 1175, Raymond made a peace treaty with Saladin, taking Baudouin's illness into consideration. During this period, he reached adolescence. Since his skin began to deteriorate and decompose in a short time, Baudouin spent his next life behind a mask, wearing dresses and gloves so that no part of his skin was visible. In those years, leprosy was called the curse of God, and since the disease was contagious, they were condemned to live a new life by being removed from society. But when it was the king who was infected, the nobles in Jerusalem could not raise much of a fuss. Baudouin was aware of the growing danger and of Saladin Ayyubi's plans to capture Jerusalem. He ascended the throne at the age of 16 by dismissing the two regents, and his first act was to declare war on the Ayyubids. All this will have filled Baudouin with anger and a desire to prove himself. The first thing he did was to declare war on the Ayyubids. So he went on a campaign against the Ayyubid army of 25,000 people with the Crusader army of 5,000 people. Saladin was aware that he was a 16-year-old sick boy in front of him, and if we look at his moves, he must have underestimated him. Because Baudouin's army followed Saladin's army, he underestimated him.
He made the biggest strategic mistake he could make and divided the army.
He again divided his remaining army into three and tried to lay siege to the cities of Ramla, Arsus and Lydda at the same time. Not to miss this opportunity, the Leper king first defeated the army that had been left behind, and then began to pursue Saladin Ayyubi. Saladin captured Ayyubi at Montizard, near Ramla. The Ayyubis were exhausted and unprepared, and Baudouin attacked with all his might. At the Battle of Montizard, the Ayyubids suffered a heavy defeat, so much so that Saladin Ayyubi was left with only his guards and barely escaped with his life. After this war, Saladin Ayyubi said to his guards, "We are now facing a real king," when Baudouin, whom everyone expected to die within a few years, won against a great leader like Saladin. He gained great respect from all the people and became the protector of Jerusalem. Although all the Jerusalem nobles attended the marriage ceremony of Baudouin's sister Isabella in the Kerak castle, Baudouin could not attend due to the progress of his disease. Saladin Ayyubi besieged the Kerak castle during this ceremony in order to deal a great blow to the kingdom of Jerusalem and take all the nobles captive. The city was resisting the siege. Baudouin was notified by messengers, but Baudouin's condition was so bad that I could not even ride his horse because his hands could not hold him. Soldiers brought him to the battlefield by carrying him in his bed. When Saladin heard that help was coming from Jerusalem, he ended the siege and retreated. Baudouin and Saladin faced each other 5 times on the battlefield. 2 battles were won by Baudouin and 2 by Saladin. 1 battle was inconclusive. After this campaign, Baudouin's bad condition got worse. Shortly after returning to Jerusalem, he said goodbye to his life due to leprosy at the age of 24. Historians say that Baudouin and Saladin had respect for each other. He writes that they were both good friends and 2 rivals fighting for Jerusalem. Because of his illness, Baudouin never married and left no heir to the throne, so when he died, Baudouin succeeded him. But no one defended Jerusalem like he did. Saladin conquered Jerusalem only 3 years after Baudouin's death. If you liked the video, you can be informed about our content by liking or subscribing.